Strike Live. It's been a pleasure having all of you here and all the awesome musicians. Lonnie James Dio, Stand Up and Shout, Cancer Foundation.
And there you have it. The final words of Dime Bash 2016. White power. Which was apparently just a joke, because they were drinking white wine backstage. Get it? White wine, white power. Yeah, we were listening to White Christmas backstage, so I decided to throw out a white power. I was there, and I can tell you for a fact that there was not a Chardonnay or a Pinot Grigio in sight backstage. In fact, the only thing that you were drinking, Phil Anselmo, was Beck's German beer. Maybe that's where the joke came from, huh? Get it? German beer? White power? Fucking hysterical stuff there. First of all, I would like to applaud Chris R., the courageous YouTuber who put up the inflammatory actions up on YouTube after originally editing them out when he put up his initial version of Walk on YouTube. I can understand why you edited it out, Chris R., because really it was almost too much to believe, wasn't it? That this shouldn't somehow be seen. Thankfully, you decided to do the right thing. And you put it up, knowing full well that you were going to get the wrath of the metal community. And you have over 1,000 comments on your YouTube page. 500 comments on Blabbermouth. They shut down the comments page. Same with Metal Sucks, who wrote a very poignant statement about not letting Phil Anselmo off the hook anymore. And you know, the crazy thing is that out of all the things that are being said, the majority of people are just like, oh, give them a bro. Here comes the PC police now and social justice team, and y'all just need to thicken your skin and stop being such pussies when somebody screams out white power and Sieg Heils. Liberal this, liberal that. Only in the metal community is something like this so brushed off. If this was Chad from Nickelback, if this was Justin Bieber, if this was Tom Brady, if this was Lars fucking Ulrich, heads would roll. Holy shit. The goddamn shitstorm that would fly around if Lars Ulrich screamed white power from the stage. Or, shit, maybe he'd get a bunch of supporters. Good for you, dude. White pride. You know, the same silly arguments. Why is it okay for a black man to say black pride, but it's not okay for a white man to say white pride? Well, for one, in case you need a little brush up on history, white men aren't oppressed by black people here in America. Black people have had a long history, not just of slavery, but of a national, statewide, citywide, countywide, neighborhood-wide level of oppression. I can tell you, seeing it myself, living in Northern California, I bought my second house, which I since had to short sale and now rent. But when I bought my second house, right there on the contract from the house that was built in the 1950s, it said, "No Negroes shall live in this house or this neighborhood." This is in a city called Pleasant hill. But I guess back in the 50s, it wasn't so pleasant if you were a black man or a black woman. And that's the difference. You know, I'm not going to go into the history of racism and black people getting sold by Africans, by their own. I'm talking about in our lifetime. 40, 50 years now. No white person has been oppressed by black people. Quite the contrary. And it's not okay to scream out white power and then brush it off as a fucking joke about white wine. Especially when there was none. You know, the fact of the matter is, I was there at Dime Bash. Had a great time. Jammed with Dave Grohl, hung out with Zach Wilde, Robert Trujillo, Dave Lombardo. It was a great vibe. And upon going backstage, I bumped into Phil and decided to strike up a short conversation as we were going to play a couple of Pantera songs together. I, having toured with Pantera back in 1997, twice. Within 30 seconds of sitting down and talking to him, his drunk ass decided to let me know in no uncertain terms that he hated the nigger era of Machine Head, referring to our third and fourth album, The Burning Red. He hated every second of it. Hated it with the passion, the stupid look. I just laughed in his face. I laughed in his face. I went, you are going to sit there and judge me for the way I looked back in the day? For the music I was making back in the day? Pot, meat, kettle. You know, the thing that's amazing about this is that we're all scared to say anything. Chris R. was scared to put that video up. I am scared to put this video out because we all sit there and look at ourselves and it reminds us of every time we've ever said the word nigger. And I have said the word nigger before. I was jumped by 15 black guys. I was angry for a while. But you know, that was in my 20s, and at some point along this journey of life, you change. You know, this has opened up a huge discussion within the band as to whether I should even respond to this or not. And the reason I feel so strongly about responding is because I had to stand on fucking stage with you. And granted, I wasn't on that stage anymore when you said all that stupid shit. No, I was only on stage when we were playing New Level and you were sieg heiling after the "and power." Like you've done forever now. Like you've done forever now. And nobody calls you on it. No bands call you on it. I've talked to people on so many tours. Yeah, Anselmo's up there sieg heiling and mouthing the words white power. Why don't you call him on it? Oh, because I love Pantera, man. And who wants to start shit with him? Exactly. Who wants to start shit with you? You're a big bully. A big scary dude. But enough's enough. Enough's enough. Now, I haven't felt connected to the metal community for quite some time now. I don't get it. I don't get how this kind of shit is tolerated. I don't get how this shit is even blown off as acceptable. Brushed off as acceptable. You know, do I think we should go and lynch Phil Anselmo and fucking call for his head? No. You're more than welcome to say all of that shit. You live in America, freedom of speech. You're free to say white power and sieg heil all you want. But that freedom of speech doesn't allow you freedom from the criticism of that speech. Because That shit's wrong. It's fucking wrong. You know, somebody to sit there and go, oh, if you were offended by this, blah, blah, blah. If you weren't offended by that, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. There's no place for that in metal. And if there is a place for that in metal, count me out. Count me out. Goodbye, Phil Anselmo. I'll never be playing another Pantera song again as long as I live. And to the metal community that backs this bullshit, see you later. Count me out. I want no part of this anymore.